Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. Hope you're enjoying your day so far. Today we're going to talk about Doug at Censor Martin. Yesterday he dropped off his challengers team of Zed, Dens and Gunjar, left in a bit of a no man's land situation and very frustrated about exactly how this was conducted by the guys on his squad. Once again, a similar situation we've seen before. Ultimatums seem to come into effect. They don't tell him to his face, this type of stuff. Yeah, Doug very frustrated. What will his next steps potentially be? Intrigued to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. Like if you guys enjoyed the video, subscribe if you are new as always, I'd greatly appreciate it. It really helps out the channel. Thank you very much indeed for doing that. First of all, just wanted to mention this. Yesterday we talked about Crimsix being kind of skeptical of Paulx and some of the Wester guys, that something dodgy might be going on. Paulx says, look, I'd fly to any facility with my own money and play on their PCs. I promise you I'll do the same thing I've been doing for years. Pretty cool of him to say this, given the fact that, well, in the CSGO scene, the same thing pretty much happened to Robs. People came up, thought he was cheating, then he flew to a facility, I think the Faceit facilities or something like that, played in front of some pros and proved that he was perfectly legit and went on to be one of the best players in the world for the last couple of seasons. So yeah, maybe a similar trajectory here for Paul, but I thought I'd mention this at the start of the video. Let's talk then about the Scout series that begins today. So this is a 4-day event. It's amateur players only. If you're in the Pro League, if you're in the CDL, if you're a substitute, you didn't get invited to it. There's 128 players, 64 North America, 64 European. So each day of the 4, every CDL team will draft a new team, and well, the draft order actually begins in the order they placed at the World Championships, at Empires first, then FaZe, then day 2 and day 4 they do a reverse draft order, and well, they basically just draft from scratch, play a few matches. The analysts and the coaches get to watch over those effectively glorified 8s. They're not playing against each other. There's no official stream. Some of the teams are going to be streaming it, some of the players may be streaming it, but yeah, it's not as well big of a deal as I think it could have been. They could have probably done a better job here, maybe put some prize money on the line. I think in League of Legends the way it worked is, like, if you actually get drafted onto a Pro League team, you actually like become one of their like amateur challenger type players on their actual organization. This time around there's no obligation for any of these teams to actually pick the guys up that they draft, so effectively it's just like, well, glorified 8s, as Crone says here, to try and figure out who actually are the best talents from the amateur side, which you're probably going to get a better job doing seeing actual teams play together in these Challenger Cups on the weekend. But the next one of those is like 4 or so weeks away right now. But anyway, this is going to be pretty exciting to keep an eye on at the very least over the next couple of days, as well as he says right here, who would you take in the #1 draft pick? And as Shame says, Doug, Censor Martin. However, a couple of hours after this, didn't seem to be going too well for Doug. Just wanted to talk briefly about some of the issues that his teams have had these last couple of weeks. So before the first Challenger Cup, Censor was, well, having a bit of a mode really at game battles, and for good reason. The fact that they hadn't given Zed his pro points that he earned from last year, which meant that instead of being seeded 4th as they would have been, they were seeded much further down, gave him a difficult bracket. And that has really carried over to this last week, where they then placed top 32. As you can see right here in the second cup, they placed top 32 again, Censor, Zed, Dens and Gunjar. But unfortunately, it's only double elimination when you get to like the top 8 region, and Censor and Co played up against Wester, who were the best team these last couple of weeks, lost to them and finished top 32. And at the end of the day, like, you might have been playing really well as a squad, you lose one series to those guys, there's nothing really, well, there's nothing disgraceful about losing to those guys in the current state of the game. So yeah, they've placed top 32, and well, Censor's probably thinking, okay, like, not the end of the world, we lost to these guys again, pretty unfortunate how everything's gone down, but maybe Zed, Dens and Gunjar, or Zed and Dens specifically, as we're going to look at in the coming minutes here, had, well, a slightly different perception on the matter. As Zed said at the time, another top 32 man, like, you know, I don't know if I can take this any longer, and well, what changes could we potentially make before the next Challengers Cup in several weeks time? And as Den says a couple of days before, they just don't want to see Doug succeed. Everybody knows he would run the CDL, and as you can see right here, top 32 in these last couple of tournaments on the Challenger Cup side. But the results don't necessarily tell the whole story of exactly how well this team was playing in practice. Censor seemed to be pretty confident these guys could do very well, but yesterday it was noted that Censor could be dropped for Jerd in Zed's stream. The well, Adcom team, Zed, Dens, Gunjar and Jerd is going to be the team. And well, Censor of course then comes back to this mind-blowing stuff, mate. Just watch the VODs. And I want to show a few minutes of a clip here ready from Censor's stream last night, where he was talking about this at quite some length and saying, look, Zed and Dens just didn't have the balls to actually tell him that he was dropped off the squad. He found out via Gunjar. Gunjar told him, look, like, I appreciate your vision, I respect your vision, I think you can be a great player, but they're only giving me the option to either, well, leave this team and go completely somewhere else, or still play with Zed, Dens and Jerd. And Censor effectively finds out through that text, like, okay, so I'm no longer with the team, right? Like, I'm dropped, and that's Gunjar's options, really. Either he goes somewhere else, or he continues teaming with Zed, Dens and Jerd here. And well, Censor's talking at quite some length about how, like, he was always calling these guys out at times, saying, okay, you're making this mistake, making that mistake, trying to improve, and they were never doing the same thing in return. And well, he always thought he must be playing perfect perfectly right if these other guys are not giving him suggestions on how to improve. So yeah, a few minutes of really frustrations here from Censor about how this whole situation went down and what might be his next steps.
I didn't even hear that I got dropped. Goonjar told me what Zed said to him. And it was like Zed and Dens wanted to play with Jerd. And they were like, yo, if you want to be a team of 2 with Doug, we won't hold you to it. And I was like, oh, like I thought we were sticking together. Like what's up with that? Like I thought we were sticking together as a team. Because we got top 32 in the cup. We lost to Wester, who's the best team. They won both the Challenger Cup so far. They're beating a lot of pro teams. They're ahead of a lot of teams right now. We got top 32 in the tournament. I thought I played really fucking well too. I mean, just go back and watch the VOD. It doesn't lie, right? Like, I thought I played really fucking good versus Wester. You know what I mean? Like, go back to the hard. I watched the hard point 5 times over. I watched the S&D 5 times over. I watched the control 5 times over. I literally just sat there watching it on repeat and looking at all the little things I did wrong. And obviously, I'm not a perfect player. I made mistakes, but I thought overall, like, I thought I played extremely, extremely well. So when I didn't even hear from Zed and Dens, like, I still haven't even heard from Dens about it. Yo, like, Zed or Dens, if they're watching me right now, like, first of all, like, if we're a team, right, and we're looking really good in practice, and then we lose to the best team, then, like, I expect that team to stick together and continue trying to get better. I've never once seen Zed or Dens come at me and, like, give me a VOD and be like, yo, Doug, like, why did you do this? You should have done that. They never challenged me as a player, and I've been playing really well, so I'm just thinking in my head, like, all right, like, I'm doing my thing. I'm playing really well. But I told him, I was like, yo, like, if I'm f***ing up, tell me. Like, I want to be a better player. I want to be the best. Like, I'm not going to settle for being top 32. I don't give a f*** if I'm losing to the best team in Challengers. I'm getting top 32. I'm not getting top 32. That's fucking bullshit. I deserve better than that. And then out of left field, I hear from Goon through a text like, yo, my brother, like, Zed and Dens want to play with Jerd, and basically I don't really have any other options. You know I believe in you as a player, but there's, like, no options to play with right now, so I'm just going to go play with them because I don't want to get fallen behind. So, like, I basically just got screwed. And it's like, for me, it's like, yo, like, if you want to go play with somebody else, just have the balls to message me and say something about it, you know? Like, in all of my years of competing, I have never seen that. To play with Jerd when he's got, like, no points and he's literally got, like, no team practice on this game. I guess their ideology is like, all right, we got 3 weeks. We can prepare with this guy. We really like Jerd. But I'm telling you, man, like, the grass isn't always greener on the other side. I think that those guys are really just up and making a mistake. And I'm just going to go out and just, you know, do my thing and just win. Like, I think everything happens for a reason, you know? Like, I dropped Clayster back in the day, and he went on to win 3 world championships. And then you don't ever tell me that you want to go play with somebody else, and I got to hear it through someone else. That's what really f***s me up and bothers me. It's like I'm a 26-year-old grown man. I've done a lot in my life. I could handle a player telling me they want to go play with somebody else. But what I don't like is phony baloney. I don't like when it's done behind my back, and then they give my teammate who wants to play with me an ultimatum to go play with them. That's when it really bothers me. So
Doug comes out with this as well, repping 275 clean, and as Reedy says, Zach, he's going to bench you into the next game. Zach is going to get smoked. And I'll just share another little clip here, which I thought was kind of entertaining. But well, Cinder's just joking around here, saying, you know, screw all these guys, like, I'm just going to bench press them. But yeah, at the same time, there obviously clearly is some frustration here, as we just looked at.
Look, the way I see it, guys, it's just more fuel to the fire. If I see Zed in person, I'm bench pressing this motherfucker. All right? I'm repping it out for like 100 reps. Dens, you could throw Dens on top of Zed. I'll rep them both out. Put Javon on them too. Put Goon on. Put all 3 of them on. Stack them all up. I'll bench press the out of these guys. You know what I mean, guys? F them all, dude. Everybody, bro. That's the vibe I'm on right now, man.
So as Doug makes very clear, my team of Goonjar, Zed and Dens decided to replace me with Jerd. I'm now a free agent in Challengers, streaming, talking about my future, etc. That we took those clips from. So yeah, certainly interesting to see exactly where Doug might land next, because Zed, Dens and Goonjar are certainly 3 of the best players in the amateur scene in theory. Zed and Dens on the Paris Legion last season. Goonjar won the Amateur World Championships, been pretty good for a couple of seasons, was of course an OpTic in Los Angeles substitute player last season as well, and it seemed like a pretty good team for Doug to slot into. They think Jerd might be better. Maybe Jerd does fit better into the role that they're looking for from that kind of aggressive SMG type player on their squad. And of course, Jerd's been a pro player for a number of years as well, just trying to come back into the scene after a difficult Call of Duty Modern Warfare at the start on the London Royal Ravens. So where would Doug go next? Who really knows? He was teaming, he was just playing some pro points last night with Lacefield and Aches and something like that, because well, Aches and Lacefield have been playing together quite a bit lately. Maybe Doug could be a potential target for them to go through the challenger side. But yeah, kind of unfortunate given I think Zed, Dens and Goonjar Gunjar was a nice team for Doug. It seemed to make a lot of sense on paper, and unfortunately they fell short at a couple of Challengers Cups. So maybe Zed and Dens thought, look, we just need to make some sort of change if we actually want to compete. Can we prove that we're going to be able to win with Censor? It's difficult to say, right? So maybe they think that Jerd is a better fit for their squad right now, and well, brings less maybe friction to the team. Who really knows? Certainly intrigued to hear your thoughts in the comment section below, though. Where should Doug go next? Will he get an opportunity with some good players that can actually make a run, so that when he matches up against Dens and Co next, he's actually, well, going to be at a good point to take him down and prove that, well, they made the incorrect decision as he was talking about. Thought this was entertaining as well. So Exceed comes out and says, for anyone who isn't in the scrim chat, just know Haggy and Doug just got into it, and it was the funniest thing I've ever seen. Parasite says, look, you're reaching. I think it was spot on. So it seems like Parasite and Doug had a bit of a back and forth here. Not actually sure who Parasite is teaming with, so maybe Haggy and Doug could be a hot duo. I don't know if that team would last very long. I can actually guarantee it would not last very long. Just the final thing before we finish off the video, then wanted to mention this from Krone as well. Talked about some challenges, Rostermania rumours. Seems like Morg's very interestingly been dropped by this BBG squad for Pentagram, and Mayhem replaces Pentagram on the team that he was on. So Built by Gamers is now going to be GodRx, Panda, Kismet, and Pentagram, which is really interesting to me that Morgs gets dropped off this team. I wonder if they felt the roles didn't really work, but of course, like Morgs having been a player and winning a championship last season on the Florida Mutineers, being one of the, well, most solid assault rifle players in the game the last couple of seasons, now dropped off this Challengers team, and well, obviously they only announced like a week or so ago. We talked about the announcement video on the channel because it was kind of cool. So yeah, interesting to see that this change has been made so quickly. Apparently these guys have a fair bit of money behind them, so yeah, maybe Pentagram's coming in for this bag, and well, Morgs dropped to the sidelines once again. Certainly intrigued to hear your thoughts on all this stuff in the comment section. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, I'd greatly appreciate a like on the video. Really helps out the YouTube algorithm to know you enjoyed this content. Other people like you may enjoy this content as well, and upgrade the competitive Call of Duty community. Thank you for watching as always, take care, and I will see you next time.
No, but on a serious note, though, I am going to be a free agent now. I'm totally fine with it. I have no doubts in my gameplay whatsoever. I think I'm one of the best players in the world. I have the confidence. I back it up in my tournaments. And look, sometimes a change is needed. It happens. It is what it is. So